welcome back to the journey to the FarLands. Let's go ahead and bust out of here and proceed on the way. Let's see, we need to go that way. Oh, wait a minute. Let's take a minute and close up the hidey hole. You never know. There we go. Well, we're progressing onward. I am getting this weird stuttery lag, which is really strange because this version of Minecraft doesn't have any servers on it for local play, so I don't get what that's all about. Anyway, starting off with the traditional beginning of the world size report. Windows reports the size of this world save at 880 megabytes, and Minecraft is reporting 883.16. Still not quite sure what that difference is all about, but I'm going to track it just for the heck of it, and continue to do so at least. Anyway, there's another bit of that lag. As we proceed onward, let's see what's been going on. Well, let's see. Most recently, we've had the Hermitcraft FTB series restart. This time, we're playing on the Monster Pack, version 1.0.9 of that. And it's looking very interesting. Well, frankly, there's too many mods in the doggone thing, but it does open up a very huge potential for almost unlimited creative options with that many mods. And so, we'll see what we can do. I've already gotten an idea of something I want to do in that version, in that series, and so I'm going to be working on getting towards that. And also, I'm still looking forward to getting a hold of Banished. This is a new city building game by a indie game developer. As a matter of fact, this guy is so independent that he is the only person, there's only one guy that has done all the programming and development of that thing. And just based on the videos that I've seen by Biffa 2001 and a few others, I personally cannot wait to get a hold of this thing, which is going to happen on or about the 18th of February, which is when it is supposed to be released. Alright, let's go ahead and burn up a boat. And I'm really looking forward to that thing. It looks really, really good. And I can't wait to get in there with a large map and a hard difficulty world and see what I can do. Starting out with 4 families and a cart full of supplies, and see if I can build a city out of that. Really, really looking forward to it. And I know I keep saying that, but it keeps being true. Let's see. New episode of Kerbal Space Program is coming up. As a matter of fact, it should be uploading shortly after this video hits YouTube to go live whenever YouTube gets through doing things to it. Whatever those things might be, I have no idea. Well, I have some idea, but it just sounds better to just say doing things to it, whatever they may be. Oh boy, this almost wants to think it's a ravine. Doesn't it know it's not in that version? It does look cool though. Anywho, proceeding onward. In that episode of Kerbal Space Program, here's a few screenshots for you, just to kind of give you a little bit of a teaser. I built a ship, and for the first time, I included using a fairing on that ship. And of course, knowing me, I can't just go and use a fairing. I have to use the biggest honking fairing I've ever heard of in a KSP vehicle of any description. Okay, it looks like it's time for another boat. Get this thing and onward. Okay. So yeah, those screenshots that you've seen, and those are the vehicle that I launched, and with this gigantic fairing on it. And I swear the fairing, for those that don't know about rockets and whatnot, the fairing is this huge honking thing at the top end of the vehicle, and its purpose is to cover the payload, so that it can you could launch a payload that will be protected from aerodynamic forces until it's out of the atmosphere, which is when, of course, then you jettison the fairing. And it's just, like I said, it's huge. The fairing is actually almost as big as the launch vehicle itself. And I don't think I've ever heard of one anywhere near that big. Okay, let's see if we can get through here without breaking a boat. Hey, how about that? All right, so if you want to see how that turns out, just keep an eye on my Twitter, twitter.com/TinFoilChef, and you'll see the KSP episode going up sometime tonight. And that'll be that episode. All right. Meanwhile, I have another Hermitcraft vanilla episode coming up sometime soon. I'm not 100% certain as to when, but it is coming up. And I've figured out something I want to do that I think should be fun. So keep an eye out for that one as well. And meanwhile, of course, I also have my single-player vanilla main world of Minecraft. And now that one's an old world. Started back in beta 1.3. And it's been going ever since. And I don't want the saplings. And in that one, I'm working on building an iron farm to automate the production of large quantities of iron, which I need for a number of other projects, not the least of which is the Hall of Honor, which is going to be constructed of iron blocks. Anyway, that's progressing. I'm still getting a little bit of this weird stuttering lag. I don't know what the heck that's all about. Not exactly good for your health in certain situations. I'm going to have to get over this doggone mountain. And my shovel is about dead. This would be the first diamond shovel, the one that I started out with 35 or whatever episodes ago. Fortunately, I do have some diamonds, so I can make a replacement when it finally does croak. I don't know what the heck is going on with this laggy stuff. I'm not used to having that on this version. Perhaps I need to defrag my hard drive or something. Anyway, let's see what else is coming up. Also coming up sometime soon, I'm not 100% certain when, of course, when I say that, But sometime soon there should be another episode of the EVE Online adventure. We're still working on completing the 50 mission Sisters of Eve Epic Arc, which I'm thinking that sometime in the next couple of episodes I should finish that up, and then we'll be going onward to other big and better and cool things and so on. Anyway, let's see, it's time to park for the night. I should see about making some more torches sometime soon too. All right, there we go. Snoozling away the night without snorings. All right, let's just go ahead and swim across this. Don't need a boat for this little bit. Anyway, so the next EVE episode should come up sometime soon, I think. And like I said, in another couple of episodes, I expect to finish the Sisters of Eve arc and proceed onward from there. I've got a few ideas there, but I'm not going to say anything because I don't yet know if it's going to work out. Anyway, another subject to touch on is the fundraising thing and the progress in that. Now, there has been a few donations, and you know they come in every now and then, and it is always welcome. It's always very, very much appreciated, and it does help. But the hard, cold, unpleasant reality of it is that while donations thus far have helped prevent this family's utilities from being turned off, and that is a very good thing. Yes, definitely. Having utilities turned off is a bad thing, and these donations have helped prevent that. However, there is also the fact that this whole time they have always been, generally speaking, no more than a week or 2 weeks from having something turned off. You know, there's always another shut-off notice that's pending. If it's not electricity, then it's the phone. If it's not that, it's the water. You know, there's always something coming along trying to make life difficult and keep the stress level up. And so we continue with the fundraising efforts, because I think that really, I think anybody has a reasonable, if I can learn to pronounce it, reasonable expectation of being able to just have some basic ordinary human things like hot water and telephone service and electricity to make things work, especially when, in this case, it's an all-electric home. If the electric turns off, then everything turns off. And with the weather that we've been having lately, that would make for a rather cold household. And I can tell you from experience, that bites great, big, nasty things. So I definitely, not only do the family appreciate it, I very much appreciate it every time somebody donates to help out that cause, because I honestly, I can't think of any other way to help the situation out, to improve things. Because, you know, trust me, if I could help them out financially and get the matter taken care of myself, I'd do it in a heartbeat. You know, if I were to win some kind of a lottery or something, or some kind of contest that gifted me with $10 $10,000 or $20,000, I would use that to get their situation straightened out, because it needs to be straightened out. But you know how that goes. You know how the odds work on things like that. The probabilities make the odds of something like that happening literally astronomically small. And so, realizing that something like that is not very likely to happen, I'm doing the one thing I know to do. The one thing I know that I can do that can help generate some help. Help generate help. Help. Well, it's a double help situation. What the heck? Surface lava. Again, there was surface lava in the last episode, wasn't there? That's not too common in this version of Minecraft. It does happen, but not nearly as much as you would expect it to in the modern release versions. Let's see. Okay, let's take the ice lake. It's nice and easy to walk across. Anywho, that's kind of the thing that's going on. You know, I keep going on and keep talking about the fundraising thing, because it really is kind of really important. It's important to them. It's important to me. I mean, hey, they're family. And family deserves whatever you can do to take care of them. And if you can't do it any other way, then you get on a video and you start talking about the problem and say, hey, anybody that is interested in helping is welcome to go to TinFoilChef.com/donate. And the donate buttons at the very top of that page are for this family's cause. And I very much appreciate it anytime somebody donates. You have my sincere thanks, and you have their sincere thanks too. It's always a relief. My goal is to get them into a situation where not only is all the utilities completely paid off and absolutely totally current, but also, let's pick up a wall. But also to where they're sufficiently financially comfortable that they don't have to be concerned about, am I going to be able to pay this bill or not? Anytime in the next, 10, 20 years, that would be nice. You know, seriously, if I were to win a lottery, win some $1 million lottery or some crazy thing like that, I wouldn't have the least little bit of problem with handing them half of my winnings and saying, don't worry about your bills anymore. And then Journey to the FarLands could talk about other things. But, like I said, I've actually done the math about the probabilities of something like that. I did. It was a bunch of years ago, but I sat down and I spent a week learning how to do the necessary math and then doing the math to compute the probability, the odds of something like that happening. I spent a week doing it. I learned how to do that math. I learned how to work those probability formulas. And I came up with the simple fact that any kind of lottery is, well, it's totally random, accidental chance. There is no system that can make something like that work better or more likely or improve the chances. It just isn't. And the odds of it happening astronomically are so huge. It's like you've got one chance out of 40 or 50 million. It's like a 1 in 40 or 50 million probability. And so this is why I don't bother playing the lottery. There's no point. It's complete accident. And besides that, I've noticed that most of the time, people who win lotteries are not the people who really, really desperately need it. Of course, a lot of the times the reason for that is simply because them that need it can't afford to play it. You know, when you're worried about your bills shutting off from one week to the next, you don't spend even $1 on a lottery ticket. You know, there's no point. And that $1 can go towards getting a bill paid off, or, well, maybe not paid off, but paid down a little bit. You know, push that shut-off notice off a few days. And speaking of days, we're getting to the end of a day. The sun is heading down, and it's time to dig in. If I can keep from having problems with this weird stuttery lag. I'm going to have to do something here, figure out what's going on here with this. Cannot allow this to continue. Hello, lagging again. All right, get this thing dug out. All right, we'll throw a torch up there. Block that. Throw down a bed and make a couple of more. And let's get a couple of boats made. Sure enough, if I don't, I'll wish that I had. Go ahead and get this broken down. All right, there you go. We're ready for the end of the episode here. And we'll be continuing this again in a few days, probably Monday if all goes well. In the meantime, be sure to stop by TinFoilChef.com/donate and consider giving some help to that situation. It is always very, very much appreciated and always very needed. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'm out of here.